Noma blocked me. I just said like the old place was better at that point. I was quite shocked. Tailah, kayak gue bukan siapa-siapa. Gue bukan kayak Little Mac atau kayak all these other food bloggers.
Maybe
kayak,
you are.
I don't know. I don't think that I am. I don't think I'm that influential food bloggers.
Tapi di blog sih lebay sih ya.
Parah nggak? Karena sistemnya udah kayak arisan kan.
What do you mean kayak arisan?
Restoran udah pernah number 1, nggak bisa jadi number 1 lagi kan?
Iya, nggak pernah.
In an extreme case, McDonald's bisa jadi number 1 when all the restaurants udah pernah jadi number 1. Jadi digilir aja. Ya nggak? Hey,
Isn't it fair?
it's fair within their system. Cuman it's a bit as well, right? It's all political jadinya kan. It's not like objective. That's the problem. People think it's objective. People think it's like this is the best 50 restaurants in Asia or the world. Padahal sebenarnya it's all political, it's all PR. Ada orang di Indo pernah ke podcast ini ngaku-ngaku dia judge padahal bukan judge.
Apa? Bro. Hey guys, gua mau kasih tahu kalian kalau Ray Jensen Radio Podcast lagi kolaborasi dengan Tofin yang baru aja launching aplikasinya Tofin App. Aplikasi F&B pertama dengan 7 fitur unggulan yang pastinya bisa membantu kalian untuk menjalanin bisnis F&B kalian menjadi lebih mudah, lebih murah, dan efisien. Nah, buat kalian yang mau belanja mesin kopi, gelato, kitchen equipment, ataupun ingredients apapun, kalian bisa belanja di Tofin App. Dan bisa pakai kode referral dari gua, RJR Tofin, RJRTOFFIN. Kalian bisa dapetin diskon sebesar 2,5%. Lumayan banget apalagi kalau lagi setup bisnis baru. Syarat dan ketentuan berlaku. Jangan lupa download Tofin App di App Store dan juga di Play Store. Hello guys, welcome back to the show. Kali ini part 2. Lanjutan podcast sama Dwi Satrio yang kemarin obrolannya lumayan panas. Dan kali ini kita akan ngobrolin lanjutan bagaimana dia diblok sama restoran salah satu terbaik dunia yang juga kebetulan gue pernah kerja di sana dan chefnya itu adalah seorang pahlawan, hero gue banget. Jadi hati-hati kalau ngomongin soal dia, men. Itu hero gue banget dan dia bos gue yang paling keren kalau menurut gue. Tapi ada apa sih di balik hingar-bingarnya award ini di dunia dan khususnya di Indonesia tuh lagi banyak yang ngejar. Tapi ternyata kalau kata Dwi Satrio itu harus hati-hati juga karena nggak semuanya itu jujur dan banyak yang memanfaatkan. Bahkan katanya ada yang pernah jadi tamu podcast kita, guys. Oke, lanjutkan dengernya. Thank you very much udah nonton part 1 kemarin. Dan juga jangan lupa subscribe di Ray Jensen Radio Podcast di YouTube, Spotify, and all other podcast platform. Juga follow kita di Instagram dan di TikTok di Ray Jensen Radio. Oke, please welcome for the second time Dwi Satrio. Enjoy the show. Oke. Are you allowed kayak share your experience as a judge?
Sure.
Oke. Yang udah pasti yang gua tahu katanya kalau biarpun lu judge itu lu bayar pakai duit sendiri.
Yes.
Travel pakai duit sendiri.
Tapi nggak dibuktiin, lu nggak ngasih billnya, so people can bullshit.
Oke.
Lu tahu nggak ada judge di Indo ada orang di Indo pernah ke podcast ini. I'm not gonna say the name.
Oke.
Pernah ke podcast ini ngaku-ngaku dia judge padahal bukan judge.
Oke.
That's how corrupt it is.
Oke. Ngaku-ngaku.
It's
not allowed ngaku-ngaku, right?
Yeah, but how can they check? How can the restaurants check? Gue di WA sama Academy Chair yang waktu itu. Lo kenal orang ini nggak? Ya gue tahu orangnya, we talk, teman gue nggak deket-deket banget. Gue dapat komplain dari restoran, katanya dia ngaku-ngaku judge, dia bener judge. Nanya ke Academy Chair-nya, no, dia nggak judge. Terus dia nanya gue, do you know this person? No. Bro, that's how easily bypassable at best. That's how easily corruptible at worst this list is.
Jadi ada orang Indo pernah ke podcast gue. Fuck, Louis.
I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Okay.
There's a traitor.
Oh shit. Well, thank you for enlightening everybody.
That's how easy it is.
Okay. Tapi I still think the effect is very positive.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
Especially for like a developing industry like our country. I agree with that. Cuman I don't like
The way.
I don't like the way. I don't like how some chefs sell jual diri cuman supaya bisa on the list gitu, ngerti nggak? Kayak-
Okay.
And I don't like how popular the list is, how powerful the branding the list is sampai orang tuh percaya ini definite 100% the 50 best restaurants in Asia.
Tapi kan food subjective. Lu
Yeah,
kayak tadi
but
balik
people don't
lagi
think that.
your first experience,
Yeah.
belum punya pengalaman makan fine dining.
Yeah, but people
Bakal
don't think
orang
that.
will be disappointed.
Yeah, people just think about the list as like this is the best restaurant in Asia, especially for the casual readers. And it just assumes that restaurants who are not on the list are not good enough. Ngerti nggak? So,
Tapi people don't think that, right? Kalau lu
tapi masih gini ya.
you're in the know, lu tahu knowledge lu udah oke.
Tapi itu berapa orang, Ray? How many people compared to like the whole public? People will start with the restaurants on the list rather than restaurants who are not on the list.
Kalau misalnya just foodie lagi travel ke Indo, gue makan di August. Tapi pasti gue akan nyari through the internet
Sure.
makan di mana lagi, right? Maybe.
But especially tourists, they
Yeah.
have only like a limited time. Mereka pasti prioritize these kinds of restaurants. Padahal, I guess there are more restaurants who are worthy of being visited,
Oke.
in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure it's not just me. A lot of,
Yeah.
maksudnya gini loh, it's a bit like brands, kayak maybe like people yang oh gue suka brand kayak LV, Prada, Gucci,
Luxury brand.
luxury brands. I think you're meant to grow out of that. Ngerti nggak? Kayak sure now you're able to afford these kinds of things, places, restaurants, but I think you're supposed to grow out of that mindset. Kayak maybe these luxury brands are not the best brands. Maybe these 50 best restaurants are not actually the best restaurants. So I think you're meant to grow out of that phase gitu, ngerti nggak?
Yeah.
Maksudnya kayak when you start your journey as like a food enthusiast, sure, paling gampang mulai dari list ini. And then as time goes by, you understand more about how it works, you understand more about, there are actually a lot of other good restaurants out there.
Oke.
Then you're meant to grow out of that. Gitu.
Nah, terus kalau misalnya Asador Echebari,
Yes.
lu bilang dia don't do any PR segala macam, relevant mungkin, yang effortnya ke sana yang tadi lu discuss, effortly, lobbying, traktir makan, apa segala macam, the judges. Terus what do they do kalau bisa nomor 2 sekarang kalau
Just
gitu?
good food.
Oke.
Word of mouth, especially in like close foodie groups like the
group,
Facebook group that
yeah.
I have gitu. I'm sure a lot of people there are judges juga gitu. So, I mean, Echebari has been famous for like the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah,
So
long time.
People have been going there back and forth just because they love the place, not because they're invited by them. 100% they don't invite other diners or like
Okay.
judges or bloggers to go there. It's within their own free will.
Lu udah kesana dong?
Sekali.
Makan, enak banget pasti,
Yeah, yeah.
pasti enak banget.
But I heard it's only gotten better. So terakhir kali gue kesana kayak 10 years ago.
Oke.
So now I'm pretty sure it's like a lot better. Yes.
Oke, let's move on to the topic.
Apa nih?
Noma.
I got blocked. Jadi gini, gue pernah ke Noma, the old Noma 2 kali, the new Noma I think 2 kali juga, 2 atau 3 kali.
Gue
lagi.
touch the old Noma.
Yes, okay. And I'm also saying this, gue juga kenal Mega
Iya.
yang lagi jadi CDP. di
Shout
sana.
out to Chef Mega.
Yeah, the last I heard, she's
Masuk
still
the barrel.
CDP.
Masuk
Yeah,
the barrel.
exactly. Yeah. Mantap. Indonesia represents. Keren. But like, I think the first time I went there, I was a bit like
Tahun berapa, sorry?
12, 13,
Oke.
a long time ago. And then I went there the second time, probably like another year or 2 years after that. That's still, itu 2 kali gue ke Noma. The second time I went there is still one of my favorite, most memorable experiences sampai sekarang. Enak banget menurut gue.
Yeah.
I think it's just focusing on good ingredients,
Yeah.
not a lot of on bullshit.
Dia udah masuk list belum waktu lu kesana?
Udah nomor satu.
Nomor satu, oke.
I still remember, vegetable dish with scallop paste and they just grill it. Like lo datang, lo duduk, lo dikasih garpu sama steak knife. Wah, and then you thought like what, red meat or something,
Oh, they love to do that.
right? And then they put like a plate of just vegetables. And orang kayak, tai ini apaan, the fuck is this gitu
Iya,
kan.
iya.
It's actually just like herbs, vegetables that they've grilled with scallop paste. Cuman rasanya enak banget menurut gua.
We get a lot of complaints waktu zaman gue di sana.
I thought that was really good. I thought that was fantastic. And then when they moved to the new location, I went twice. One is the seafood season, pas mereka baru buka, season mereka pertama baru buka, and then the game season di
Okay.
tahun yang sama. Saya pas seafood season gue kayak, ini kayak biasa aja gitu, kayak it's not like the old place was better. Now it's focusing more on like, wah kayak presentationnya lebih Instagrammable lah kasarnya kayak gitu, kayak. And then the game season happened as well, like you scoop the duck brain from like the skull.
Oke,
You know,
I
like-
remember that dish di
Yeah.
IG gue liat.
Ya, maksudnya kayak it's not good. Maksudnya kayak biasa aja gitu. It's just duck paste, one scoop. Cuman rasanya biasa aja, but the purpose of them putting that is so that people talk about the restaurant.
Yeah.
You can eat brains directly from
The head.
the head of a duck. That's the only purpose I could think of. Gitu.
Okay.
So it became more of like gimmicks. And then the account gua, I talked about that. I didn't really talk about in detail about these are all gimmicks, blah blah blah, in a very respectable and like I would say politically correct way. I just said the old place was better. I like the old place more than the new place. The new place felt more like, kayak lo naik roller coaster, terus kayak, oh shit, lo tegang. You get more excitement after dish, you get more excitement. Cuman nggak ada actual ininya loh, kayak serunya gitu. Kayak pas naik, tato udah selesai dessert. Terus kayak gue masih lapar. I was not that satisfied. Terus kayak gue was left high and dry gitu loh. Terus that was my metaphor. It was like a roller coaster, and I just said like the old place was better at that point. Mereka baru not even a year mereka buka gitu. And then Renner ZP unfollowed me. Noma blocked me. So if you go to my Instagram, I can't search for Noma. They blocked me. Are they that petty? Gimana menurut lo?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, but-
they're my hero.
Yeah, I mean, that's how restaurants see PR. Especially Noma, who's one of the best in PR in the world.
Exactly.
So, I was quite shocked. Kayak, anjir, segitu, apa sih, petty? Kayak,
Iya, petty lah.
ya kayak,
Baper.
Iya kayak, tai lah. Kayak, jujur aja, kayak gue bukan siapa-siapa. Gue bukan kayak Little Mac atau kayak all these other food bloggers yang
Maybe you are.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that I am, to be honest gitu. Cuman maksudnya kayak I don't think I'm that influential, just like other food bloggers. That
Tapi
you
di
know.
blog sih lebay sih ya.
Parah nggak? Ini gue bisa buktiin sekarang.
Iya,
Kalau misalnya gue search Noma, lihat nih. Kagak ada bro. Cuman ada Noma Projects, Renner ZP.
Gua doesn't expect this podcast will be kayak so eye opening. Oke, my experience nih
Yeah.
di Noma. Gua heard about Noma itu dari Om William Wongso. Dia bilang waktu one of our hangouts, gue sering main ke kantornya gitu kan. Terus dia bilang, Ray, lu tahu gak tuh Bocuse d'Or yang menang bukan Perancis lagi, bukan Jepang, orang dari Denmark
Yeah.
gitu kan. Sekarang Nordic food tuh lagi gila tuh.
Yeah.
Gue kayak Nordic food, what? Gue thought French food is number one, ya kan, all the time. Terus habis itu gue search di rumah Nordic food, keluarlah si Noma ini. Habis itu, oh mereka ada cookbook.
Ya.
Oh mereka number one in the world.
Ya.
Oh gue beli cookbooknya, kebetulan ada di toko buku di Jakarta. Gue beli, gue baca, what the fuck is this? Foraging, gini. Karena gue dari dulu suka kalau lu konsepnya lokal. Gue chef yang that style.
Ya.
I hate molekular.
Ya.
Itu kebawa dari chef gua yang kayak waktu di sekolah. Waktu gua sekolah El Bouilly is number one. Chef Ferran. Molekular. Terus gua tanya sama chef gua, chef ini molekular lu bakal ajarin kita gak? No.
Makanya lo gak diajarin foam.
Gua gak diajarin foam. No, this trend will end in 2 years, Ray. Dia bilang gitu. Terus gak tahu mereka nomor 1 lama banget gitu kan. Tapi gua suka classical food. Gua suka local. Makanya gua waktu itu juga sempat stage di Key.
Ya?
Karena dia do all those things terus nggak terlalu jauh dari Jakarta.
Di Sydney maksudnya.
Iya di Sydney. Terus habis itu Noma nih yang really into it local, hyper local gitu bla 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 bla. Terus gila gue ngefans banget. I read all the recipes apa gitu segala macam.
Terus habis itu ya gue punya kesempatan akhirnya long story short gue kerja di sana lah, stage di sana. The first thing ada satu hari itu orientation. Lu nggak kerja, lu cuma orientation around the old Noma, lokasi lamanya. Terus habis itu kayak habis di kitchennya, of course naik ke atas prep kitchen habis itu ada pintu, sebelah kanan itu R&D area, sebelah kiri is a staff meal, family meal. Terus lurus, habis itu ada a bunch of kayak 15 people working in a computer.
Oke.
Terus katanya, okay, this is our PR department.
Boom. 15 people.
Gua pada saat itu posisi gua corporate chef di Jakarta. Gua nge-run 7 outlets, terus habis itu gua udah mulai ngerti lah PR, marketing, dan segala macam.
In a city like Jakarta, it's useful lah. Gitu. Competitionnya sengit.
Iya, terus gua udah mulai ngerti tuh the system. Gua udah ngerti waktu itu di Jakarta salah satu restoran yang kita manage tiba-tiba dapat number 2 best restoran in Jakarta. Gua sampai surprise. What the fuck? Gue cuma kayak chef datang ya ke Plaza Indonesia, ada award ini, kita menang nomor 2. Nomor 2 apa ya? Best restoran in Jakarta. How the fuck we got that? Gue bilang, kita baru buka 6 bulan. Ada yang udah 20 tahun. Gue bilang, gimana caranya? Oh ya bayar chef gitu. Gue udah ngerti itu. Terus waktu gue, this is our PR department, ini. Terus gue kayak, what the fuck? PR. Terus habis itu gue, dari zaman dulu nih, makanya gue punya podcast. Gue tuh penasaran, gue kalau lagi nongkrong ini itu, kebetulan Rene is very nice to the interns, the unpaid interns. Itu kayak
He has to be very nice, soalnya they're unpaid. So
exactly.
kalau misalnya you're a bitch and you're unpaid, terus kayak
We leave.
Exactly.
Which is fair menurut gua. Nobody put a gun on my head bilang lu kerja nggak usah dibayar gitu. I won.
I mean chefs were also affected by the PR lah.
Iya. Terus habis itu gua nanya, how do you do? Salah satu karena dia selalu kayak, hey, any questions I can answer gitu segala macam. Kalau lagi nongkrong. Terus gue nanya, how do you do such a great PR? Gue nanya kayak gitu. Terus dia bilang kayak dia nggak know a lot about PR. Dia bilang itu
He has 15 people to do it for him.
bagian yang partnernya dia. Karena one of their partner and investor itu punya, gue lupa namanya siapa, tapi dia punya kayak Asian food channelnya Scandinavia.
Oke.
Gitu.
Oke.
Oke, dari situ gue konekin kayak oh shit, pantas aja di mana-mana. All over the world, travel show all over the world.
Maksudnya kayak ini deh, siapa namanya? Dishwasher siapa?
Ali.
Ali.
Yeah.
Dapat share.
Yes.
Why do you even need to publish that? Ya udahlah. Ngerti nggak? It's just for good PR aja gitu, ngerti nggak?
Iya, tapi he deserve it. I love
Sure,
the guy.
sure. Tapi when they published it on medias, it's for Noma, not for Ali.
But it's
I'm sorry. I mean, buat apa? Good, ada employee yang bagus, sudah kerja lama sama Noma. Sekarang he became one of the faces of Noma gitu kan. Orang sering foto sama dia. Why do you have to publish it on medias? Ya udah, just keep it to yourself. Buat apa?
Terus gue jadi kayak one of the stupid people yang congratulate him gitu. Wah.
I mean, I'm not saying stupid, John. Maksudnya kayak, this is how some of these restaurants work gitu. Thank you, bro. Maksudnya, it's their intention to create good buzz.
Iya. Isn't that okay?
Yeah, I mean,
Masa lu nggak boleh promote nothing but the food, bro?
I mean, gini ya. I'm talking from a different extreme. That gua nggak kemakan. I don't care about those stuff gitu. Gue nggak begitu peduli sama list dan PR dan segala macam. I only trust people who I trust.
But you're a marketing guy. Tapi you do the same strategically.
Yeah,
in your work, right?
Cuman maksudnya I try to disassociate my.
That's why you're not in the industry.
No, I mean I see it's so hard to make really good, unique food that speaks for itself without PR gitu.
Okay.
Maksudnya kayak there is a success case which is Echebari. Which one day will become number 1. Soalnya sekarang sistemnya udah kayak arisan kan.
What do you mean kayak arisan?
Kan orang yang udah pernah restoran yang udah pernah number 1 nggak bisa jadi number 1 lagi kan?
Iya, nggak pernah.
In an extreme case, McDonald's bisa jadi number 1 when all the restaurants udah pernah jadi number 1. Jadi digilir aja. Ya nggak? Hey, extreme case man. Hey, Iya dong.
Ya. Oke, guys, gue mau kasih tahu ke kalian kalau Regency Radio Podcast itu lagi kolaborasi sama Tovin yang baru aja launching aplikasi pertamanya, Tovin App, aplikasi F&B pertama dengan 7 fitur unggulan yang pastinya bisa membuat kalian menjalani bisnis F&B kalian dengan lebih mudah, lebih murah, dan juga lebih efisien. Contohnya apa yang kita bisa beli di Tovin App? Itu mesin kopi, seperti yang di belakang kita. Mesin kopi yang super canggih, Victoria Arduino Eagle One dan juga grinder Eagle One Prima. Itu kita beli di Tovin App, bisa nawar juga. Dan juga khusus untuk pendengar Regency Radio, ada special promo code RJR Tovin. Kalian masukin promo kodenya dan dapatkan diskon. Download Tovin App sekarang di Play Store dan juga di App Store. Oke bro, what happened? Lu mention lu part of the voters. Kenapa lu nggak agree sama mereka? Apa ininya?
Nggak gede sama.
Nggak agree sama mereka anymore.
Just the way how the system works gitu. It's easily bypassable. Gini, if you're a chef, if you're a restaurant owner, if you want to be on the list, first research who the academy chairs are in your region. See who they follow on Instagram, especially the ones that's like foodies. Follow them, invite them to your restaurant. Then, hoping that they are one of the voters as well. And when they come, try to, jamu mereka jago banget lah gitu.
Yeah.
Take care of them as much as you can.
Hospitality,
give like free drinks, free dishes. Free dishes is one of the best ways to make people feel special.
Yeah.
Kayak off the menu stuff.
Special.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to make people feel special.
Oke. Menurut gua, it's way better untuk seperti itu daripada lu bayar gua dapat nomor 3, nomor 2.
Yeah, for sure. Kayaknya itu nggak bisa deh. In the 50 best, lo nggak bisa bayar.
Karena restoran gua dulu dapat nomor 2 itu gua bayar, man.
Yeah, of course that's
bukan gua yang bayar ya. Gua kerja di sana, guys.
PR team.
Iya.
Yeah.
The owner pay.
Yeah, okay. Cuman maksudnya that's different lah. That's a different level. Cuman like I said, there is a way to bypass the system.
Yeah.
Which is just look at the academy chairs. Mereka follow siapa aja yang kira-kira foodie, invite them, give them a good time. And then there are also like formats as well to like the kind of restaurants yang masuk dalam list itu kan.
Lu sering pop up, sering collaboration.
You go there. So if you remember, it's not just journalists atau foodies jadi voters, chefs as well.
Yeah.
So you need to do a lot of these collaborations. You need to be friends with a lot of the chefs. You need to make sure that everyone just loves you in general gitu.
Kenapa harus gimana ya?
It depends on how.
Isn't it fair kalau lu begitu?
It's fair. It's fair within their system. Cuman it's a bit bullshit as well, right?
Kayak I have a friend.
Yeah. It's all political jadinya kan. It's not like objective. That's the problem. People think it's objective. People think it's like this is the best casual readers casual diners.
Yeah.
This is the best 50 restaurants in Asia or the world. Padahal sebenarnya it's all political, it's all PR.
Belum tentu yang paling enak, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Ledu, that's one case.
Yeah.
I'm saying this not only to shit on them, but also to force people to have a critical perspective. Ngerti nggak? So it's not like lo makan aja apa yang disuapin ke lo gitu. You need to understand how the system works, how people can bypass the system, how restaurants always do that. A lot of restaurants do that. So it's very important, I think, for the industry, not just to rely on like these kinds of PR and stuff. You need to progress as well as chefs, as restaurants, as suppliers who grow these good ingredients. So you rely more on the food than just PR, man. Soalnya gini loh, if you were part of the list and then you're not,
after that
you have an expiration date. Ngerti nggak? Kayak wah kenapa nih restoran kok nggak ada di list lagi? Berarti udah shit. People asumsi langsung kayak gitu.
It's like the Michelin star juga.
Asumsi langsung kayak gitu. That's how strong their brand is. And that's why I don't like it.
Gue flashback lo ngomong gitu ke almost 20 years ago. Gue lagi di sekolah masak, gue baru graduate. Ada 2 chef yang manggil gue untuk nongkrong.
Indonesia.
Di Paris.
Oh sorry.
Di Paris. Terus kayak ini si chef ini namanya Xavier Cot. Dia tuh waktu sekolah tuh gue paling benci dia tuh. Anjing keras banget sama gue. Kalau ada temen gue yang salah dibiarinin. Cuma dibilangin. Kalau gue tuh dimaki-maki udah kayak kerja. Padahal gue sekolah gitu kan. Gue benci banget sama nih chef nih. Tapi dia salah satu chef yang jago pastry, jago cuisine. Jarang di sekolah gue. Dia dulu sempat kayak lama di Tour d'Argent. Dia chef di cuisine there gitu kan. Very respected. Terus satu lagi ada namanya chef Philippe Clerc. Terus dia itu punya restoran di kota kecil. Dia famously di among chef itu dia punya 2 Michelin star. Begitu mau dikasih 3 ditutup sama dia restorannya. Terus dia teaching. Gitu. Terus habis itu mereka ajak gua nongkrong, dudukin gua terus kayak mereka bilang, "Lu tahu gak sih chef-chef tuh keras sama lu selama ini lu di sekolah nih hampir setahun." Gua kayak I notice it very much. Fuck. Gua bilang gua berat banget sekolah. Gua bilang gua diomelin mulu. Gua sampai ngomong ke satu chef lagi. Gua bilang I don't think I'm good enough. Gua diomelin mulu lu anjir gitu kan, nggak pernah dipuji apa gitu, good job nggak pernah. Gue questions kayak gue mau enter di industri gak gitu kan. Terus kayak dia bilang enggak, kita tuh nanti lu notice deh waktu lu udah di posisi kita, tapi lu cuma keras ke orang yang potensial. Dia bilang gitu, berarti lu punya potensi gede gini segala macam. Terus habis itu kayak ditanya what's your ambition? Of course as a young chef di Paris, apa ambisinya? Pengen jadi orang Indonesia yang pertama punya Michelin star gitu kan. Gua want to Michelin star for my country bla 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 gitu. I was like 19.
Of course lah.
Terus kayak si Chef Xavier bilang, lu tahu kan kalau you want to play that game, lu tahu nih backgroundnya dia gitu kan. Terus gue bilang, ya gue cuma dengar lu nolak Michelin star si Chef Philip ini. Terus dia bilang kayak, Ray, nih get this ya. First star is about the food. Second star is about the experience. Third star it's about the star. Dia bilang kayak
Apa
gitu.
tuh maksudnya?
Jadi dia bilang kalau lu udah achieve that, you will be so popular. Terus habis itu lu akan mati-matian maintain the third star and sacrifice everything else. Ini gue chef muda yang nggak tahu apa-apa, gitu. Jadi gue decide gue reject the third star. Gue nggak mau. Tapi gue juga please some people.
Of course.
Dia
The
bilang
system,
waktu mau dikasih award, lu dapat 3 nih ya, the dream of most chef.
Jadi dia mau dikasih 3 waktu itu.
Mau dikasih 3, udah ada rumor lu dapat 3.
Restorannya apa namanya?
Gua forget bro.
Okay,
ini old restoran lah. Kan dia berhenti terus dia ngajar di Cordon Bleu jadinya.
Oh dia ngajar sekarang.
Dia ngajar, dia guru gua. Terus kayak the system is corrupt, dia bilang gitu kan. Jadi gua dapat 3, gua udah tahu nih dari cerita-cerita temennya yang kayak oke, kalau lu 3 star game nih kayak gimana defending game dia bilangnya. Kalau first star, 2 star offensive game supaya
lebih
lu bisa
tegang
achieve.
defending man.
Iya.
Kalau lu kebobolan sekali lu
betul.
mati.
Begitu lu hilang kedua bisa bangkrut, bisa apa, orang bilang nggak good enough, restoran lu bisa sepi.
That's why there's that psychology thing, right? Kayak even if the feeling of losing $1 is more than the feeling of gaining $1. Jadi pada saat lo lose something, you actually feel it more. Padahal nominal sama gitu.
Iya, belum lagi the perception kan. Gitu.
Exactly.
Terus kayak gua nggak mau jadi chef yang kayak begitu. Dia bilang. Jadi gua decide buat quit. He close the restaurant, dia go to teaching. Gitu. Gua have that. Terus waktu itu gua don't have a clue apa yang dia ngomong about the star, apaan gitu kan. Tapi kayak along the way sekarang gua ngerti. About the messaging people's dick and everything.
I mean like, but also like in Michelin juga kayak sekarang ketinggalan kan sama 50 Best. Mereka kecar-kecir sebenarnya sekarang.
Nah, about the PR game, what do you think about Michelin awarding Michelin star to street food?
PR. PR.
Biar nggak image-nya nggak cuma restoran fine dining.
Exactly. And also more media is gonna cover about Michelin if they award a chicken rice stall to get a Michelin star gitu kan. Itu lebih groundbreaking daripada kayak another French fine dining got 1 Michelin star or 3 Michelin stars gitu.
Iya benar.
Same, I mean mereka ketinggalan sama 50 Best. Mereka takut.
But I have to say Tim Ho Wan was great.
Yeah. I mean,
Michelin star.
yeah. Especially mereka banyak cabang, but they can still create the standard. Though. That
Yeah.
takes a different kind of kitchen game.
Gua waktu Michelin star keluar dan Tim Ho Wan got the news, itu gua lagi di Hong Kong. Pas banget kayak, hah? Dimsum lagi di Hong Kong. Oke, shit. Gua kesana terus emang restorannya rame banget.
Yeah.
Sebelum buka emang udah ngantri.
Tapi gue dengar dari one of the chefs. I don't think I should say the name.
Iya.
Pas mereka dapat 3 Michelin star, mereka dapat waitlist 1,000.
Oke.
Pada saat mereka jadi nomor 1 di 50 best, 10 kali lipat dapat 10,000. That's the power of 50 best right now.
Waktu jadi itu 50 Best Discovery and everything.
Pas mereka jadi nomor 1.
Oke.
Jadi efeknya 10 kali lipat.
No,
daripada-
Tim Ho Wan is a dim sum
No, I'm
stall.
not talking about Tim Ho Wan. It's another restaurant.
Oke.
Yang I don't think I should talk about the chef atau the restaurant. Pas mereka dapat 3 Michelin star, 3 Michelin star was like the pinnacle kan,
Yeah.
paling tinggi.
Iya.
Mereka dapat waitlist 1,000 per hari.
1,000 orang.
Per hari atau per bulan gitu.
Iya.
Tapi pada saat mereka jadi nomor 1, mereka dapat 10,000. Jadi that's the power of the 50 best list. Lebih kenceng daripada Michelin. That's one way of measuring it lah gitu kan, by way of reservations atau waitlist. So that's why Michelin tuh sekarang, that's why they're all over Asia now. Even though it's based on, lo bayar Michelin and then they come to your country and then they assess
Yeah.
restaurants blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But still that's why mereka panik gitu about how to catch up with like 50 best. Soalnya 50 best has something that Michelin doesn't have, which is having these events.
Yeah.
Pada saat mereka
Award
awards
winning,
gitu.
award.
It's not just chefs, journalists, but also like foodies gitu. Even though these foodies, and ini balik lagi ke Anthony Bourdain. I think Anthony Bourdain was the one who said this. I think he believes that the 50 best or like the 50 best list is bullshit. But I think chefs play along with it because they don't want the party to end for the chefs. Because, it's good for the chef. Mereka dapat banyak teman. They connect with a lot of people. And foodies as well. Kayak, damn, gue merasa penting diundang ke all these awards gitu kan. Gue merasa kayak divalidated gitu kan. Kayak anjing gue, I'm good enough to be invited by the 50 best list untuk masuk ke awards kayak gini. So, and then they promote the awards. Michelin doesn't have that.
Iya.
So,
Dia ngejualnya tuh kayak misterius.
Very secretive kan?
Secretive.
yeah, gitu. And Asia's 50 best or like world's 50 best, pada saat mereka dapat ada event ini, it's for like a region gitu.
Why don't you ask your friends in the group
Huh?
to make an award?
Yeah, but who's gonna listen to us? One of the people in that, I don't know if I'm,
Yeah, okay, one of the people.
has something like that. It's quite huge,
Okay.
quite big.
Belum kedengeran aja di Indonesia.
Not Indonesia, but
Okay.
quite big in the foodie sphere.
Oke.
So if you're like a foodie, if you love restaurants, you've probably heard about this thing. But he's there.
Oke.
Yeah. Gitu.
Ada lah yang
Ada.
organic awards.
Not organic, but still, it's become one of the lists that people or restaurants look at as well nowadays.
Oke.
Kan dimulai dari Michelin. If you're in the list, if you have like 1 star, 2 star, lo dapat plaque.
Ya.
Yang merah. If you're in the 50 best list, lo dapat kayak apa sih, piala.
Iya.
And now in this thing, lo juga dapat plaque juga sekarang gitu.
Okay.
So, some people are doing their own stuff.
Hey guys, kalau kalian enjoy the podcast so far, thank you very much. Dan jangan lupa subscribe di Ray Jensen Radio Podcast. Back to the show.
Gue mau discuss about the guest yang ngaku-ngaku judge nih. Tapi, so dia ngakunya gimana?
I don't know the details, but from what I heard from the academy chair, kayak HP gue udah ganti, jadi gue nggak bisa kasih lihat the exact conversation that I had, but ngaku-ngaku admitting that orang ini, I don't think I should say the gender as well gitu.
Yeah.
Orang ini one of the judges, dan gue bisa bantu restoran lo untuk masuk ke list. Tapi pasti,
So dia actively say that.
yes. And what kind of person does that? PR.
Iya.
Tapi blah blah blah.
Okay, another
Blah,
topic.
Blah blah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you off the record maybe. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. Biar orangnya takut pas.
Oh my god. Oke. Terus Noma lu nggak talk? I mean Rene is a nice guy, right?
Sure. PR team is not nice though, probably.
Kayak reach out lah.
I don't know. I mean, they made the first move.
Oke.
I wasn't even bashing them, man. Gue nggak ngomong kayak anjing makannya gak enak banget, kayak tai rasanya segala macam kayak gitu. I didn't say that. I just said respectfully that their old place was better. I still like the old place better than the new place. And then that's apparently enough for them to
Block you.
block me.
Okay.
Rene unfollowed me.
Kalau gua sebagai orang yang ngefans banget,
Yes.
and kayak pengen nggak punya restoran di 50 Best? Ya pengen lah,
Sure.
gitu. Terus kerja sempat stage di sana. Gue lihat how the PR game work.
Yeah.
Ya kan, gue lihat di mana waktu di the 15 people yang duduk PR team. Terus habis itu gue
Bro, company aja kayaknya nggak ada 15 orang PR deh. Restoran ini punya 15 tuh gila sih.
I don't
Gue
know.
aja nggak tahu 15 mereka punya.
I don't know semuanya PR apa enggak, tapi
They're not in the kitchen. They're not
no,
in
no, no.
service.
Office,
Exactly.
back office.
Yeah, okay.
Dan itu 15 people karena I counted.
Oke. Ya.
Berapa orang?
Yeah.
Terus di mana kayak restoran waktu image-nya gue research about Noma kayak oke, every day we have family meal.
Yeah.
Ya kan, di mana waktu gue
meal.
kerja di sana, no, the chef nggak makan bareng kok.
Oh gitu. Tapi kan ada space-nya untuk makan bareng. Or maybe that's the new place. Lo belum di situ kan?
Ada space-nya.
Yeah,
ada
okay.
space-nya, tapi nggak semua chef makan bareng. Biasanya the chefs yang full time di sana mereka makan di tempat lain sambil ngobrol and hang
gitu.
out. Which kayak gue sih makan secepatnya karena gue mau ngerokok cuma 45 menit breaknya gitu kan. Dan gue learn di sana gue juga oke, kalau this is what it takes to be the best, I don't need to be the best.
Oh, oke.
Gue learn karena the work is so much. Terus kadang-kadang gue udah berasa di Indonesia yang lu nggak bisa maki-maki gimana push orang too hard gitu, tapi di Noma because of the standards begitu kan, which is itu different style.
Ya, ya.
Terus kalau gue discuss sama Mega sekarang udah nggak sebegitu katanya.
That's what I heard.
Jadi-
pada saat itu back in the days Noma tuh juga quite abusive kan. Very
abusive.
Military style.
Military style.
Hierarchy gitu.
Karena
kan.
si Rene-nya
Background juga gitu.
begitu
Exactly.
ke full time staffnya.
Yeah, exactly.
Full time staffnya mau begitu ke siapa?
Trickle down lah.
It trickle down
Yeah.
sampai ke unpaid intern.
Of course. Siapa lagi yang paling bawah gitu kan?
Gua pernah ya dimaki mah udah biasa.
Nah.
Ya. Gua pernah didorong
Nah,
kayak di shove gitu. Gua lagi ngambilin bulu bebek di shove terus gua kena ujung meja gua berdarah.
Anjing.
Gitu.
shit.
Ya gue mau gebuk juga anjing gue di Denmark jauh banget dari rumah. Terus kayak Rene actually Rene, what the fuck happened to your face? Gue kayak no, gue kepleset. Gue bilang gue daripada ya
so
udahlah
kalau
gitu.
Lo jujur, lo
Bakal
bakal
big thing.
lebih diituin kan.
A big thing karena ada a guy fired di Noma waktu gue di sana. Jadi my friend namanya Enrique, dia tuh kayak 3 tahun sebelum stage di Noma, dia stage di Noma tuh iseng for experience doang. Dia udah lama nggak di kitchen. Dia works at lama kerja di LBU Foundation.
Oh, oke.
Terus habis itu kayak
Spanish begitu.
ya which is yang foundation ya,
Yeah.
bukan the restoran.
Iya, iya.
Which is itu eye opening juga tuh dia kerjanya gimana sih di sana gitu kan. Tapi dia tuh dibully di Noma sama the full time chef. Dipanggilnya Ferran. Karena dia tuh waktu awal kan semua di prep buat tahu siapa yang kerja cepat, siapa yang biasa gitu segala macam. Karena gua kerja cepat, terus habis itu gua cabutin bulu bebek cepet. That's all I do. Gua disuruh ke yang dekat fermentation lab. Ada walk-in chiller tapi dimatiin. Gue di sana sama 5 teman gue cabutin bebek tiap malam dinner service. I do that for 2 months. Terus tapi si Enrique ini karena dia dilihat CV-nya, oh LBU Foundation, ditaruh di service.
Aha, oke.
Ya dia bukan orang kitchen man. Collapse lah di service lah, nggak bisa ngikutin, apalagi Noma standar. Akhirnya dibully, dia dipanggil Ferran sama the full time chef. Terus kan si Rene of course, Rene Redzepi respect Ferran so much kan. Dipanggil pertama anak intern. Siapa yang panggil lu Ferran pertama? Ngomong aja gitu. Terus kayak dia gak mau ngomong gitu. Kita gak mau ngomong lah gitu kan. Terus kayak no tell me gitu segala macam. Akhirnya dipanggil berdua. Dipecat men orangnya. Yang start the
Intern atau full time chef?
Full time staff.
Full time chef.
Dipecat. We're not doing this type of shit. Kalau sampai Rene tahu about the bullying and stuff sih pasti dia marah banget karena dia so nice to the intern, unpaid apa gitu segala macam. Tapi ya that's going on karena dia galak banget ke staff dia. Gua galaknya gila banget.
Yeah, he was part of that system back in the day sebelum Noma kan. Maksudnya from what I heard where he worked before itu kayak military juga.
Yeah.
Gitu. That's why he adopted that as
I
well.
was part of it.
Yeah.
Gue kerja di Robucho man, for you.
Yeah.
Gua-
Lagi French system ya.
Gua sekarang kalau kenal orang chef yang kerja di Robucho, semua bilang lu gila, tahan lu di sono.
Ya Robuchon kan orang gila juga.
Iya, gue di sana karena gue bilang gue tahan karena that was my first job. Gue pikir semuanya begini.
Right.
Gue pikir semuanya diomelin di depan mata di kitchen. Gue pikir digampar pakai pen tuh orang. Ya udah, emang military aja gitu. Tapi gue belajar waktu gue di Indonesia, gue begitu. Gue ditungguin abis pulang. Gue sampai minta maaf, say sorry gitu kan.
Tapi that's why it's so apa ya? What you do to your orang bawah lo, they will do it as well pada saat mereka naik terus to their
exactly. Gue ada di poin di Noma kayak Noma tuh 65 interns.
Fuck. Unpaid semua.
Unpaid.
That's why they're closing. Sorry.
Iya, exactly. Ada kan di to clear that up ada disuruh pay kan karena ada this US chick yang whistleblower expose the story, kerjanya sibuk, pergi pagi pulang pagi. Gue masuk 7:30 pulang jam 1:30.
Plus abusive bla bla.
Terus abusive tapi nggak dibayar gitu segala macam. To that pertama gue bilang nggak ada yang force you to do internet.
No. Yeah, of course.
Iya.
But there should be a decent way to do it or like a standard to do it.
Yes. Nah kalau di Noma waktu itu about the abuse, the super hard work military standard itu tuh udah jadi rahasia umum lah di F&B Denmark. Waktu gua ke Kado kayak head chefnya Nicola kayak, "Hey Ray, you're from Noma?" "Yes chef." "Lu diapain di sana?" gitu kan kayak gitu langsung make a joke about it. Tapi Kado is really different. Gua really learn a lot kayak about the system you manage the stuff di Kado. Terus what I'm trying to say kayak begitu ketahuan terus habis itu disuruh bayar terus malah tutup kan. Itu another they're closing now. Itu another story.
And then he also made an interview about that. I don't know if you want to discuss that. But
right?
Ya, maksudnya dia ngomong kayak restaurants nowadays it's not sustainable. But it's only you guys when you have like 60 interns. And then if you're forced to pay them, of course it's not sustainable. Echebari is sustainable. They don't have like 60 unpaid interns.
Yeah. The way you do.
Tapi maksudnya the way dia ngomongnya tuh kayak as if kayak industri restoran in general tuh unsustainable.
No.
That's why they have to close.
Yeah.
But that's how he's trying to
convey the message.
Bahasa kasar gaslighting. Cuman maybe that's a bit too much
My experience di Noma. Ini again gue bukan hating Noma ya.
Yeah, I mean,
gila, gue respect the way that they do to be number one itu emang extra work, bro.
Gitu for kan. Sure. With a lot of sacrifices.
NPR.
Of course.
Terus salah satu contohnya si bebek. I do that most of my time di Noma. I do
yang
bebek.
Roast duck ya. Lo cabutin bulunya.
Gue cabutin bulu. Terus mereka kan insist mereka mau they don't want farm duck. Mereka mau duck yang diburu.
Makanya ada pellet di dalamnya.
Ada pellet dalamnya. Karena waktu zaman gue itu the dish is presented whole, is a full menu. Itu they want a nice duck breast. Ya kan duck breast yang kayak nggak ada ternya apanya gitu kan. Ada waktu itu mereka punya 2 Michelin star, 50 best nomor berapa gitu kan. Terus karena diburunya pakai shotgun, peletnya kan pecah. Kadang-kadang kena dadanya bolong.
Waktu gue makan, gue dapat pelet di mulut gue.
Oke. Oh shit.
But mereka ngomong kayak, oh that means you're the lucky one.
Jadi dan lu nggak kelihatan waktu ducknya ada bulunya, nggak kelihatan ada lukanya gitu segala macam. Bulunya tebal. Waktu lu cabutin lu udah setengah jalan, ada yang bolong dadanya. Gue tanya dong ke the full time chef ini gimana dadanya bolong? Throw it away. Gue kayak,
Okay. That's something about sustainability. Yang mereka sangat champion kan. And then apparently they throw away ingredients quite a lot. Walaupun mereka dengan image kayak everything's local, that's why there's like less carbon footprint. But then if you also think about, mereka sering pop up ke Meksiko, ke Jepang. Ini yang kedua kali kan.
Ke Kyoto.
3 kali malah.
Pertama di Tokyo. Gue makan yang di Tokyo.
And then Kyoto, and then sekarang Kyoto lagi kan. And then if you think about it, mereka terbangin tuh semua staff mereka. Well, I don't know if it's semua atau kayak banyak lah intinya.
Most of the stuff.
Exactly. And how much carbon footprint is that? Ngerti nggak?
Yeah.
Lo terbang pesawat. I mean, if you're a brand that's really championing sustainability, why? And then it's a bit hypocritical that you're also terbangin banyak staff lo halfway across the world just to do a pop-up. To Mexico, 3 times to Japan. Ngerti nggak?
Ngerti?
So, you know,
Yes.
no one's discussing that.
No.
Exactly.
Except us.
They have 15 people.
Podcast di Jakarta
Yeah.
discussing this.
They have 15 people to cover that, or not to mention that.
Iya.
Gitu. Same with your duck situation juga. Gitu.
Iya, dibuang.
Exactly. And that's
Gua-
not the only one probably.
No, of course not. Gua sampai bilang ke staffnya, paling enggak not for staff meal,
Yeah, yeah.
family meal. No, karena kalau di Noma, lu staff meal itu orderannya beda.
Tapi bukan dimasak sama. Oh, order
Iya,
ingredients
jadi
ya.
kayak selalu misalkan siapa yang mau masak staff meal
Ya,
atau enggak lu dipilih,
Ya.
Ray masak makanan Indonesia misalnya. Terus kayak ada sous chef yang datang, lu mau order apa?
Ya,
Itu
ya,
ordernya
ya.
beda.
Lo mau masak apa?
Iya,
gitu.
terus gua
Tapi at least try to incorporate those discarded stuff. Gitu.
Gua udah nanya,
Yeah.
Dwi. Gua nanya ke staff meal gak?
Yeah.
No, itu kalau lu mau ke staff meal boleh. Lu lapor tuh ke sous chefnya, which is sekarang lagi service. Lu bakal ganggu dia, dimaki juga.
Ya.
Bakal it's a whole thing lah.
Ya, ngerti.
Ya kan? Jadi ya, atau enggak lu bilang ke siapapun yang tanggung jawab staff meal for that day.
Ya.
Nih ada yang mau dipakai,
Yeah.
tapi tiap hari beda orang yang tanggung jawab staff meal.
Itu lo masukin tas lo aja bawa pulang gitu. Lo
Iya.
bakar sendiri aja di rumah.
Gue bawa pulang,
Iya.
gue harus ke locker dulu. Gue kayak ya udahlah. Sampai ada satu poin gue sempet jadi kayak let's say one of the leader of the intern at the duck
Nah,
plucking place.
Yeah.
Karena gue paling lama, karena kan 65 intern, terus ada yang resign, kecapean apa.
sih kacau sih.
Datang yang baru. Terus gue kayak ada 3 Indian guy. Terus kayak dia manggil gue kan, chef ini bolong gimana? Terus gue yang harus bilang,
right. Jelasin.
throw that away. Gue langsung bilang gitu, serius nggak bisa staff meal? Karena kan pasti chef reaksi gitu
Iyalah.
dong. Sayang banget.
Iya lah.
No man, throw that away.
Sehari pasti ada satu, at least.
Iya. No more. Kan
Sehari, every day.
Kan shotgunnya, you
Yeah,
never know
I know.
shotgun
Cuman
hitnya
maksudnya
dimana.
at least more than one every day.
Iya.
Dibuang semua.
Dibuang, masukin
There
ke
you go.
plastik sampah
Crazy
hitam.
nggak? Gila.
Iya.
Gila.
Terus gua jadi harus yang kayak begitu, man.
Iya.
Throw that away, bro.
And they're probably gonna do it as well. Kalau misalnya mereka stay lebih lama dari lo.
Terus gua kayak waktu itu gua lihat temen gua dimaki karena plucking bebeknya kelamaan. Terus ada this guy, dia orang Siberia. This lady, dia orang Siberia. Terus habis itu gue bilang ke sous chef, chef, fuck man, ini mereka lama banget kerjanya, gue bilang gitu kan. What do I do to you guys when you take too long? Gue kayak, you give me shit.
Yeah. Then do it.
Then do it. Terus gue gave them shit. Mereka kayak, oke chef. Gue stas juga.
Tapi I understand people when they're given that kind of power or authority, it gives them something gitu kan. Kayak anjing gue kayak
Iya.
gue ya belum bos lah, cuman kayak gue punya power over
Yeah.
this kind of person,
Yes.
especially after gue udah diginiin sama orang lain.
Exactly.
So you sort of want to do the same thing kan.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a cycle.
Terus gue gue udah di poin pada waktu, man, the first 2 weeks gue udah realize gue nggak mau jadi seperti mereka, karena gue udah lihat
Yeah.
PR, gue udah lihat ini. Terus kayak, tapi waktu gue give that shit to the rest of the staff, gue berasa gue jadi mereka juga.
Iya.
Gue buang bebeknya, gue maki-maki juga.
Yeah.
Gue kayak, shit.
Sustainability,
Iya, gitulah.
tanda kutip.
But
Gitu.
gue still consider dia really influential figure
Yeah.
in me,
Yeah.
at least in my career, gitu kan.
That's fine.
Shit, bro.
But it's just, I guess salah satu alasan we're having this conversation is just to have a different perspective.
Iya,
And also
eye opening aja.
to think critically, jangan, just accept whatever's being spoon-fed to you from the media.
Ya.
Stuff
So,
like
let's talk about Indonesia.
Yeah.
Jakarta specifically, makan industri F&B itu lagi bagus banget, exciting, a lot of restoran opening up.
that. Yeah.
Salah satunya August, lu udah makan?
Udah.
Udah. What do you think?
I think it's good. Cuman then again, there's a caveat. I went there last year. Gue waktu itu lagi ada kerjaan, jadi gue datangnya telat banget dibandingin sama istri gue sama teman-teman kita. Udah makan duluan, jadi kayak pas gue datang everything was like expedited gitulah. So I
Okay.
didn't really get the full experience until
Okay.
now.
You haven't been back.
No, I haven't. Soalnya
Okay.
pas gue balik sekarang, to be honest, priority gue makan nasi uduk, bakmi gitu lah. So I haven't really gone to like a proper
Okay.
restaurant. Walaupun banyak yang baru dan gue pengen cobain.
Oh, I thought lu balik ke sini mumpung gitu di mana-mana.
Jujur aja gue gak ada waktu, man. Soalnya gue sempat ke Bali, sempat ke Bogor. Jadi kayak I haven't had the time to, you know, outside of spending time with family and friends to eat at these kinds of restaurants. Jadi gue belum sempat, jujur aja.
Gue very happy for them mereka have the reconnection
Yeah.
and kayak especially opening the doors.
Ya, exactly. Makin banyak yang.
Yeah.
Ya.
Or at least tahu there's a way.
Ya.
Kayak gitu. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always good for the industry, especially, you know, chefs and restaurateurs who have that ambition and see that it's possible gitu kan. It depends on them which kind of method they want to go with gitu. That's another discussion that they need to do internally gitu.
Yeah. Bro, ini really eye opening. Gua nggak expect you. Thank you very much for your stories.
Thank you. It's been fun. I think if we stay here for another 1 jam lagi, we can talk
yeah.
a bit more. So, but
To close ini deh.
yeah.
Ada restoran yang nggak kesampean nggak lu mau makan tapi udah tutup mungkin, atau ada yang lu targetin lu pengen makan lagi?
Trogro is still on top of my list.
Okay.
Every year I tell my wife, let's go there. Cuman sekarang punya anak 2 tahun, jadi kayak it's a bit tough. Maybe like when she's a bit older. But I don't know. I think di Jepang there's still a lot of places that I haven't gone to that I really want to go to.
Oke. Lu pernah makan itu gak Obes du Pongkolong Pol Bokus?
Sorry? Nah.
Obes Pongkolong.
Belum.
Ya?
Cuman
Gua
gua
pengen banget.
from what I've heard from people, it's more like a museum.
Iya.
It's more like apa namanya, a snapshot of what French cuisine was like
Iya.
back in the days.
I love that shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for like, you know, new techniques, development stuff, you don't go there. Gitu.
Gue trying to reserve the place for 3 years waktu gue di Paris. Nggak dapat.
Seriusan?
Iya.
Oh, okay.
Karena kan selalu, ya gue off-nya kan limited.
Right.
Ya kan? Tapi setiap ada off yang kayak summer holiday, 2 weeks off, yuk kesana yuk. Nggak pernah dapat.
Yeah.
Karena banyak yang mau makan.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Have you eat Faviken?
Yes,
Gimana? Itu juga gue,
fantastic.
another place I want to go stage.
really good. Dia baru beli tempat lagi di Sweden.
Oke.
Dia beli kayak semacam penginapan, and then he's probably gonna convert that to like a restaurant and also
Oke.
like
Certain
a
type of
hotel.
food.
Yeah, exactly. Not really public yet gitu.
Oke, throw another name. Mugarids.
Yes.
Gimana? Kan dia nggak peduli tuh makannya enak apa
Exactly.
enggak gitu.
Exactly.
What do you think of the experience? Lagi rame tuh di TikTok yang orang sampai
Oh
panggil
tahu gue
polisi.
gue baca.
Isn't it stage?
I don't know, but those kinds of TikTokers or influencers probably want the attention,
Yeah.
right? Cuman, it's alright. I mean, it's more about if you go there with like expectations, it's gonna be the best meal of your life. It's probably not gonna happen.
Those type of restoran yang bakal serve pom and itu right?
Yeah, but I think that's different. Soalnya kayak Mirazur is like they're actually creating real food, like normal
Okay.
food.
Yeah.
With like,
Mugaris is not normal food.
No. Yeah, I mean it's kayak it's more like an exhibition, art exhibition gitu. Like they can make this into food.
Yeah.
They can kayak gue pernah makan kayak leather bulu gitu, ada bulu-bulunya. Kayak ya makan aja, masukin mulut lo gitu kayak. Tapi literally tuh kayak bulu kambing gitu terus
Oh
dimakan
my
gitu.
God.
But they made it in their own way gitu lah. But texture kayak bulu persis gitu kayak.
Yeah.
It's not good, but it's more like, damn, mereka bisa bikin kayak gini.
Yeah.
It's more like that. But
Experience-nya.
yeah, I mean, I'm probably not gonna go back there again.
Kalau banyak chef bilang kayak provocative food, itu
Yeah.
provokatif banget.
Yeah,
sih,
very
kan?
provocative.
Iya kan?
Very.
So Sweden, ada a place yang would you recommend?
Yeah, a lot. Daniel Berlin, lo
Okay.
pernah dengar?
Nggak pernah.
Ya, dia baru buka restoran baru di South of Sweden. So like 1 hour-ish, 1,5 jam dari Copenhagen. I think that's probably one of the best right now in Sweden. Francine people have heard
Yeah.
about that place.
I would love to go there.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good. The whole experience is fantastic. And there's like a lot of, I mean, I don't know, mungkin gara-gara gue udah lama di Sweden juga, jadi kayak I prefer places that don't have a lot of bullshit gitu loh. Jadi
Okay.
kayak it's just like I know there are a lot of like really good suppliers, like vegetable growers, farmers who can supply these like really good ingredients, and gue suka restoran yang kayak they just respect the ingredients.
Yeah.
So they don't overcook it. There's not too much sauces. There's not too much bullshit kayak flours and like like things that
Yeah.
makes the chef look insecure gitu. So it's just like good ingredients cooked well, not overcrowding the plate, and that's it. So
Do you
that's-
cook?
yeah
Lu
quite
cook
a
ya?
bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Quite a bit, little bit.
Swedish meatballnya seenak itu gak sih?
Enggak.
Di Sweden.
Gini, kayak apa namanya kayak
Pertanyaan standar gak buat orang yang tinggal di
Enggak,
Sweden?
maksudnya kayak ya meatball aja, kagak ada yang kayak anjing ini meatball terenak sedunia, gak ada man. Kayak meatball ya enak, cuman gak ada yang kayak bikin lo pengen nangis atau kayak gitu.
Oke.
Yes.
Sweet. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you man. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for so much clearance. Oh man, a lot of things to discuss nih. Oke. Good luck for your project.
Thank you. You as well. All the best.
Thank you so much.
See you in Sweden ya.
Ya, hopefully man.
Yes.
Hopefully. Oke guys, itu aja podcast kita sama Dwi. Thank you very much for listening and to watching to our podcast today. Jangan lupa subscribe to Ray Jensen Radio Podcast di YouTube, Spotify, and all other podcast platform. Dan follow kita di Instagram dan di TikTok di Ray Jensen Radio. Follow Instagramnya Dwi di
Dwi Satrio.
Dwi Satrio. Follow, lihat foto-foto makanan fine dining dari seluruh dunia. And thank you very much juga for Tovin for the collaboration. Download Tovin app sekarang, bisa ngebantu kalian ngejalanin bisnis F&B kalian. Di download di Play Store dan juga di App Store. Thank you very much guys. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.